Would you mind introducing yourself, Shellie, to our audience, a bit on the personal side before we talk mental health?
Sure. My name is Shellie Hunt. And you covered, I'm a single mom. I own multiple companies, but I have had many things that have happened in my life. I could start with I was, as a child, raised in the East Coast near Boston, in the outskirts of Boston, literally under a house, one pair of shoes at a time. A lot of love, but very little. And have had many things happen in my life that could have stopped me from moving forward in my life in many ways. Whether it was the choice of being pregnant and choosing to be a single mom and ending up adopting two more without a partner, without a husband, or I have faced everything from home invasions to rapes to domestic violence. And I'm very open about the things that I have faced. And what I have found is any one of those things could have stopped me from me being and enjoying my life. And, I think it's very important as things come in. What I learned was instead of having things stop me, it was a gift. And people go, well, how the heck is a home invasion a gift? I was literally held for 12 hours. I was tortured. There was a lot that went with it. And this was many years ago, but it's why I went into trauma therapy and why I wanted to work with individuals, because it didn't stop me. Now, did it pause me in my tracks? Absolutely. And was there a choice on what I was going to do with it? Absolutely. And, so many times I could have held that baggage and carried somebody else's dysfunction with me. And instead I went, this is spawning me to help others. This is, it's one thing to have sympathy. It's another thing to have empathy. And
Mm,
empathy meaning I've lived through it and I have been through it and I've come out the other side. And those are the people, when you have this kind of stuff happen to you, you want to talk to people that have come out the other side,
yes.
because everybody can give advice.
Hmm.
And, hey, I appreciate the advice, but if you've never been in those shoes, then it's kind of judgmental versus, I survived this and this is what worked for me. And then you can either take it or not take it. It's a different come from. And
Yes.
so, I really sought out being able to help others and serve others. And as a matter of fact, it was like one of the worst things that happened in my life, but it changed the course of my life,
Yes.
changed the course of the work I was doing with individuals. And, I know a lot about human latent programming, and I know a lot about how our memory attaches to things because we have like this incredible computer in our brain, and being able to um, really live our lives how we choose to live our lives there are things that we can do to be able to assist that instead of I'm living my life in the confines of outside circumstances and letting outside circumstances dictate my life. And I just kind of took the reins of my life, and I love showing people about what is possible. At one point, one of my best friends, and I know I brought it up before, but it's Les Brown, and he said to me, I know everything you've been through, and there's this perseverance. And he goes, if you were going to write a book, I'd want you to write a book on perseverance, because these things have happened to you and yet you kept getting back up. And I think it's one, how we are to ourselves. First, I was very kind to myself. I didn't blame myself for what happened. I was kind to myself and allowed myself the space to heal. And it's very important that you allow yourself that space. And then also being able to step back from whatever event it is or whatever trauma or whatever it is that has happened, to be able to step back and start to look at it as an overview. Because every time I lived in it, I was re-traumatizing myself,
Hmm.
reanalyzing it. And trauma starts with a thought, and then it moves to your body and you feel it here. Well, I feel it here. Some people feel it here. Some people feel it here. Wherever you feel it in your
Yep.
body,
Yep.
you feel it, and be aware of that. And then being able to go, wait a minute, let me step back and let me look at the overview of this in a bigger picture. Let me see, what are the gifts in this? And that's why it's important to heal first, because when you're in the healing process, especially in the beginning of a healing process, it's really hard to see a gift. You're like, this is a mess. Okay. I'm like a cat on a hot tin roof. I'm feeling like I have PTSD, like this is horrible. What is this? So when we're in it and we're analyzing it, it's a different place to be. So once you get through and allow yourself some of that, and you start going, wait a minute, maybe, I've been raped multiple times. Maybe that wasn't about me. It has nothing to do with the way I was dressed. It has nothing to do with, maybe what I said or any of that. And especially as a woman, I have to say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Because we get blamed a lot. Well, maybe if you didn't wear that dress. No, this is somebody else's dysfunction. And do I want to carry that with me? Do I want it to affect, how I am? And that affects, of course, my business, and that affects my life, and that affects my kids, and that
Hmm.
affects my happiness. So I really went on this journey to go, I'm handing the baggage back,
Yes.
and I really trust that things happen for a reason, even if I don't understand the reason at the time. Um, and sometimes years later, I did understand the reasoning to a degree.
Hmm.
Uh, maybe not of their actions, but I understood the reasoning of certain events in my life where I stood back and I went, huh, okay, so what can I do with this? What is the gift in this? The gift in this, I'll take my daughter's father, my biological daughter. I adopted two more, but my biological daughter's father was domestically violent. And I said, well, what is the gift in this? I had never dealt with this in my family before. Nobody around me knew what the heck this was.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I learned was how strong I am. The actually acknowledging my
Yes.
strength through going through it, through living through it, to standing for it, against it, to going, wait, these are my boundaries. This is who I am. And I got to a point where I go, this is my rock, and here is where I stand. And the world will adjust. And and it was a gift. At one point I said to him, I just want to thank you. And my daughter said, what? You want to thank him? I don't understand. And I said, I learned how strong I am. So no, a diamond isn't made by just sitting on the ground. A diamond is made because of heat and because of pressure and intense pressure. And so knowing that part of me was being groomed into a diamond, which I
Hmm.
learned later on,
Hmm.
it was very true. It was very true. And I also looked to others that had gotten through it